Hmm. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 everybody. And we are cutting live here. Appreciate you guys. I'm Mike Wirth, and welcome to Give Me a Minute. So we're breaking out of our 1 minute long videos that I've been cutting using the iPad, and now we're going to do some longer term things and get into it and do some live streaming. So pretty excited about how that's going to go. And yeah, we're on YouTube this morning. We were on Facebook yesterday just trying it out. So if you're joining us now, check it out. Drop some love in the chat. Right? You can always keep up with what's going on. So all right. So we've got a piece we're going to work on here, and we're going to just start by doing what I normally do, which is to rock this background, make it blue, and then yeah, so the theme of this is going to be first fruits. So we're going to be painting some pomegranates. It's like one of my favorite things to paint, and I'm going to use this horizontal landscape to my advantage here, you know, to play with like how that goes. So all right, let's think about like where it's going to go, and in this layer 1 here, I'm going to add my you know, my pencil drawing, all the things that I'm going to be doing to make it so that I have you know, the layout going. That's what I love to do first, is like lay down a pencil drawing. So I'll go up to my brushes and I'll see like, what do I have for a pencil? I don't like to use the pencil, even though it's a great thing. I'm going to use the everyday round brush, and that's my brush that I created that has like some fantastic elements as far as just being really versatile, really simple, and really handy. And you can see I've got my little palette here. I'll talk about all that stuff in a little while. All right, so thinking about now what we want to do, and yeah, I always do these like things at night, so like pomegranates at night. So here I'm just gonna kind of think about this here real quick, just a loose drawing, right? And palms always have that like crown on the top. I know it looks like a tomato, I know, but it's not. So we're gonna think about too, the palm has like a little nub that comes out here, and then, you know, just can we make a really gnarly palm arm like that? That's what I'm really looking to do, is to just have fun flowing that around, bending it, doing all sorts of crazy funky things. So all right, cool. I'm very excited with where we're going. So yeah, we'll think about the stem here, right? Just kind of like really how it's going to work, and again, loose drawing, just getting the feel. You know, these curves aren't perfect; they're not exactly what I'm 100% going for, but they're still great. And yeah, I'm going to think about leaves. Palms have these like really kind of funky, like twisty, kind of bendy looking leaves like that. Really beautiful. So right, fill in that space. And I'm thinking now compositionally, you know, I want to start to look at some of these areas that have empty space and what they're doing, right? And like, am I going to put leaves in there? How am I going to make all that work? That's really the goal here, is to make that sort of thing occur. So that's what I'm thinking about compositionally as I'm doing this. Lots of times I like to just do layout with shapes, simple shapes, to just kind of put pieces together. All right, so here let's do that one there, and let's see, a little fun with this leaf here. I just don't want to make a boring composition, but so far so good. I'm excited with where this is going. Actually, I'm not thrilled at all. I want to play with this. All right, actually, I'm gonna back up. I got to really rethink this whole composition here. I want to make sure I do something really cool. All right, so we're gonna do this actually, much bigger palm like this. Okay, and then we'll go like that. We're gonna do something unprecedented here. We're gonna do a little loop to loop with the stem. I just had too much going on. I feel like that extra loop is going to steal from the main composition, just the dominance and the hierarchy of the image. This is much more, we got a boom, that solid shape right here. I really like that. Okay, and then playing with this, yeah. Okay, that's thick, but we'll play with how that goes. All right. So I'm gonna now think about. I'm gonna extend that leaf. I had some shorter leaves earlier, but I'm gonna make these longer. I mean, you can kind of do what you want here. I'm not going for accuracy, obviously, right? I'm going for the simplicity for making things look sharp and fun and exciting. All right, we're gonna do like a little guy right here. Okay, nah, I have to think about that. Oh, yeah, definitely like that. I'm gonna kind of play with it as it goes. I'm doing this off the cuff, so we're gonna try and see if we can make some fun things work. All right, so after I lay down my pencil sketch and I kind of have an idea about where things are gonna go, right? Like I know I want to put a moon right here. So I may even do this. I'm gonna take this freehand and take my whole, one more time. Take my whole pencil sketch that I did, the whole thing. And then what's really rad is I can select it with the selection tool for transform, and then I can scale it down some. And let's see, oh, I've got it on freeform. I want it uniform. There we go. It just gives me a little more playing room here with what's going on. And this is, I spend time doing this. I want to make sure that my composition is really, really solid with this. So got the moon, right? We're gonna do some stars here, probably a star here. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. Maybe one. Yeah, we'll do one like down here so it kind of radiates off the thing. And I'm just planning out like where all this stuff's gonna go and how it's gonna lay out. So moon, boom, star, 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 right? Really just thinking pure composition about where this is gonna go. So, good morning, y'all. We're doing this stream, and we're drawing a pomegranate. We're doing first fruits of the year, right? It's the Jewish New Year. It's the holiday of Sukkot right now, and we're getting close to Simchat Torah, which is when the Torah came down from the mountain. And yeah, we celebrate with first fruits and lots of symbolic things. So it's really cool. So that's why I'm getting into this drawing, and then this is going to have like a real fun starry night feel to it. So I just did my pencil sketch, and yeah, if you're with us, check out the comments, say something, right? Give us a like, right? Subscribe, check it all out. Just say hello. We'll give you a shout in the comment section. But what we're going to do next is we're going to take our pencil sketch now, and then we're going to make it into a fill. We're going to do what's called flatting, right? Or blocking in painting. And that's where you put big swaths of color, right? And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so we're gonna look for, I'm gonna get like an orange, there we go, that's good. Nice. And I got my everyday fill brush, and this is like nice and big, and you can see I'm just getting some color in here. And I'm gonna do a full fill in the space. Okay, so the reason we're doing this, and I'm gonna try and cover this, is in software, in like digital imaging, right? When we do digital painting, it's really important that we have control over pixel space. So when I make a big flat area like this, right, and I can just drag in my color, bloop, right, it fills that in real nice. There's smoother ways to do this. And I'm going over my last drawing. I'm not jumping layers. I'm keeping this all in here. I'm treating it like it's a real painting, like I was painting a painting. And the reason I want to do this is that I can then use this as a selection. So if you are aware of in ProCreate, you've got all these different types of selection tools that I just popped up here. But this automatic one, right, when I tap this, bip, you can see it chooses all those red pixels, like gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So this gives you the ability to do masking like boom, boom, boom all the time as you're working. And if you're a spray painter, a muralist like me, I'm thinking about controlling spray areas. So I'm using tape, I'm using paper, all sorts of things to mask or selection, right, in the digital world, those things. So that's why I do that. So right now I'm color flatting, right? That's really what my job is at the moment, is to go in here and put down all the base coats. Okay, if you know, if we were doing spray paint, this would be called catch and fills. So we would be catch and fills right now, filling up areas with block color, right? Or figuring out here, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff here. That's not really the crown I wanted. That's not even really how I do the palm crown piece anymore. So what's up, friends? Mike Wirth here. I am drawing in the morning, right? This is my Gimme a Minute series. We're expanding from just the minute-long videos to the longer stuff, longer tutorials, longer demos, all that stuff. I'm rocking ProCreate today. I'm working on a piece called First Fruits. And give me a like, give me a subscribe. Got the donate button down there if you want to support the cause, right? You could hit me on Cash App, all that good stuff. Keep this rolling, all right? So we're working on the palm, backing it out here real quick. We are in the color flat zone right now. And all right, let's add this palm crown like the way I like to do it. So, okay, so we got that right there. Like that. Awesome, okay. I know you're like, dude, that's terrible. I know, because it's a flat. Flats should be terrible. They should be just silhouettes. You know, they're there for shape. And that's really like what we wanna do, right? Is really make sure that we're keeping this really working to our advantage. So watch now, the reason I did this, not because it's fun, but because with automatic selection, boop, you see the whole thing selects. And now I can do stuff to it. So watch, I could turn on painting mode, and you can kind of see, and I can see it in the preview here, there are those selection lines showing you that, you know, ProCreate is in fact saying whatever's inside or not in this like a dashed line pattern zone, right, visually, is paintable. So check this out. If I were to grab that and switch over to my texture brush, you'll see I could very well control paint, you know, in this space. Super nice. I could tone it out, right? Like that's the bomb. That's exactly why we're doing the paint flats, the color flats, so that way we can have control over all of that, doing what we're doing. All right, so that's the reason, right? And we'll jump back. We're going to continue doing our color flats, and I like to keep this on one of the on one layer. So I got this one layer going, and in fact, let's see. Yeah, okay. So because I used, did you see that alert that just came up there real quick? Watch. It says maximum 2 layers reached, real fast, and it goes away. That is telling you because I made my canvas, go to crop and resize, settings, you can see it's 18 by 24, but then it's 300 DPI, right? So the fact that it's that setting with such high resolution means that I can print this out and it's gonna look gorgeous. But it limits my layers, right? I can't now do any more layers in that project because, well, all that image space is now dedicated towards making the image such high resolution. Okay, so here we're going to say cancel, right? Get back to what we're working on here, right? This horizontal landscape, and we're back to color flatting and fills. So I'm going to eyedropper that color, the red, and then I want to find like a green for the stem that's going to match it, right? Or be close to it. I like, yeah, I like being able to have. Switch that over real quick. I like being able to have all my flats in one space so I could really kind of control. And I'm limited to 2 layers. I can't do 50 layers. So we're just going to do what we have. All right. So color wheel right now, I have it set on the disc. And there's, you know, harmonies and stuff like that where you can find all the sort of different ways. I just like working like this because sometimes you can get new color ideas just by moving things around a space, right? You know, it's hard on the color wheel to like get the gray value of peach, you know, in that way. So we'll go back to the disc. The reason I'm going back to the disc is if I slide the disc right now, it's going to change the hue, the color, but it's not going to change the saturation or the value, right? Or the brightness. There's lots of words that surround color theory in this way. So here, we're gonna slide around the disc, okay, and we're gonna go towards, yeah, let's go towards the yellowish side of green, right? Green is one of those crossover colors that touches both the hot and the cool palette, being cool itself, but there is a very hot green, right? If you know what I'm saying. Dope. All right, and then, yeah, I might want to go a little more Kelly, mid-tone green, okay. All right, and we're going to continue with the fill. Oh, not that. Okay, everyday round brush selected. All right, and then we're going to just sit here and go a little bigger, but we're going to trace our art. I know this looks like a pea in the pod. You know, it's kind of terrible, but wait till it gets shading. That's the thing. It's like don't diss until it's ready. Trust the process, right? Trust the process. Sweet. All right, so we've got now one of those leaves filled, and then we're going to go for now this second one. And I know it looks like my palm is strong. It is. It's a strong palm. So I'm doing this scallop type of thing just because the leaves have this weird shape, and I'm stylizing them. Plus, if you've ever seen there was like a limited edition series of stamps from Israel. They're really old, but they have these great pictures of like the 7 species, right, which are like the sacred or 7 fruits of Israel. Very interesting. Okay, here we go. All right, and then I'm gonna cross that. Yeah, and I'll cross over that, it's fine. I'm gonna actually cut back. I'm a big fan of cutting back. Okay, so I don't want my stem to be like too big. So I'm gonna take it down. Oh, let's see, where am I? Oh, I gotta go back to the palm layer. All right, so I do have 2 layers here active. So yeah, if that's true, then I should put the palm. I'm gonna stack this stem behind the palm itself. That's so nice with the detail with that sitting up there. But we don't need that right now. So I can erase in here all that stuff from that first layer. So when I'm limited to working just in a few layers, I like to make sure that I take advantage, because like a layer will have a place where graphics sit, but then it will also have empty space. So you could technically, like, you know, using the back of scrap paper for notes and stuff, you could technically use other segments of layers to, like, as almost another layer, kind of, you know, from different tutorials and things like that. It really embraced that and been like, that's pretty dang cool. All right. Okay, so one thing is, you notice the leaf doesn't touch, so we can go to the freehand selection, and then we'll get tight on here. We'll be able to draw around that edge. Okay, beautiful things. We can stop. We can just pick that thing right back up. Oh, love that. It was like Photoshop used to not have that, and it was like you had to nail it. You had to get it perfect. Oh, bummer. I realized I'm in the wrong layer. So back to it. Get that freehand selection. I love this freehand tool, and you'll watch now, like, I can fully control this in the drawing. I can even rotate it some. I can shrink it down if it's like if I feel like it's a little overzealous of a thing. Cool. And you can see that lets me really have great control over what's going on. Oy, all right, I meant to have that touch, but here we'll just have to Microsoft Paint it. Let's get my act together here. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so we've got our flats down so far for what it is that we're doing, and so far so good. We're going to add a ton of detail to all these little things here. All right, let's think about. Yeah, I think we're good for now. I was thinking about a second leaf, but I think we're going to just hold off on it for now. We're going to keep it going. All right. So I've got these two layers. I'm actually going to merge them down flat, so that way I could have the ability to draw on another layer behind. So I'm going to say tap on that layer and then go to merge down. Merge down, it is. You can see it's all one piece now. Shazam, that's great. And we can start to think about now. I'm going to go to, well, not background layer. I'll make a new layer, and then I will drag this new layer behind my pomegranate. And this is where I'm going to put background elements, right? So I'll show you how I kind of build it all together. All right, previously we thought about the stars and the moon and all that stuff, and we should still be thinking about that as to where we're going to place this texture that I love to put in all of my work that I call flow fields. So you can see in the list here, flow fields, right? Brush shader or flow filed. Let's see, let's go here. About this brush. Can we have a better name? Flow field. Sweet. All right. And you can sign your brushes and all that stuff and everything. So totally do that if you can. I think I'll do a brush tutorial at some point. So here I've got two I use all the time besides my everyday round brush, my flow field brush outline, which I'll use at the end, and then my flow field brush shader, which is going to allow me to put all of my lovely flow fields into the background. And that's amazing for me to do. Otherwise I sit there and I do every line, and that's all right. That's how I do it in real life, but with the computer, check it out. All right, so we will go to, we're going to sample the color from the background, and then we're going to go back to the color wheel now, and because we've got that color, we can shift. It's easier to shift from a color. That's why I like to use colors off of other colors, because you get the same saturation and brightness, the same intensity as the others, and your colors are more likely to match when you do that. So I'm going to shift this now on the gray slider, which is, you got freedom here to go muted pastel, or you can take it up to here, which is like nice and punchy royal blue. That's what I want. So go into the brush. I want to check its size, and we'll do a test real quick. Okay, that's way too small. So we're going to increase the size. Okay. And the opacity. Okay, good. That's like looking a ton better. All right. So with this flow field brush now, my job is going to be to just fill in all that empty blue that you see. And I use this for texture, and you'll see I'm going to use it even for contours. And it's going to create a whole mess of flowing, swirling wonder in the background. So first thing is let's get this moon shape really outlined, so I kind of know, all right, a moon is going to go there. That's really where I want that. And then where I have these stars, I'll put little spirals just for now. Okay, let me make sure. Good, I'm in that background layer. You always got to make sure. You never know. Another spiral. Another spiral. And what these do, friends, is these will create hotspots. Compositional hotspots. So our eye is going to go moon, star, and trace it all, right? Of course, we're looking at that dominant element, but when you think about the background in isolation, it's going to now have just these hotspots, right? And in a flow field, if you were looking at water, you would see that these would be little eddies, right? Like in a river, little whirlpools that are like, oh, swirling around rocks. Or if you're looking at the side of Jupiter, right? Like recently, NASA showed pictures of asteroids hitting the planet and creating these big flashes in the atmosphere. So we're seeing storms, right? Those are storms. You can look even on our planet and see a hurricane, and these spirals will show up, right? So something about the spiral in nature and in the universe, it's incredible. All right, so still with this, thinking about boom, 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 where these layouts go. And I think I'm going to do one, like we said, over here, just kind of like in the little bastion of of the arm of the leaf, which is dope. All right, and then once we establish like where these stars are going to go and stuff, we can set the size of the eddy, right, to be what it's going to be. Give a little space on that moon, and yeah, then we're gonna just give it a little density on there. There we go. You'll notice it starts to creep behind the image itself, which is great because we're working on the background layer of this, and then that pencil will go away too. We got to control it, obviously. All right, so I don't always fill in the entire background because a lot of this is going to be covered, but yeah, I want you to see just the kind of basic here. All right, so we'll let that go. And now what I like to do is set the eddy, but then I'm going to make a perpendicular flow line, almost like a sun ray. Right, and that's where I go next, is I create all these little kind of sun rays, and I'll make them connect, and I'll make them branch off, and then connect to others. Just making it kind of known that these are like interwoven, interconnected type of pieces and elements, right? It's like I'm using the background really to like lead the eye. I want you to go ooh, and meander through the space. And get a really good sense of where this is going. Okay, and then we'll do watch this, loop to loop. Sweet. So all those little bits now are interconnected, interwoven, and I can flow in and around them, and I just start to fill in all the things that are going to kind of do what they're going to do around. So to help reinforce the shapes too, I like to use the perpendicular flow field coming at it. So here you'll see I'll add a lot of these kind of radial type things. And the reason I do this is to help when you have like a shape going like this and a shape going like that, you can see the difference. So boom, it'd be much more difficult for me to try to get those to blend, or I'd have to use like some hard color background, but to use this flow field pattern effectively to get it to, like we said, to act perpendicular like this, to look like basket weave or brick weave, we use the perpendicular line to make that happen. And you start to see now, as I do these little wavies, it creates little pinches and all sorts of fun stuff happening inside of the art now. And all those little pockets are going to become brand new areas to do the same thing, right? To create these little whirly whirls. So, and sometimes you can even have stuff flow. It's crazy. Like I'm finding every time I like discover a truth or a rule about how these things behave, or a pattern I see within them, I'm like, oh, guess you could bend the rule. And I love that. That's what's keeping me on this constant path of exploring and discovery and exploitation, right? It's like, I love this, so I'm exploiting it now for my purposes, for my work. I want those swirly, flowy, bendy background lines with my stuff, because what I'm here to do, my objective is to take this thing, right? This ordinary object, which is so special to me and so special to Jewish people, right? To Middle Eastern people, to anybody who's gonna consume a pomegranate. That you have a relationship with one if you're hearing this now and you're watching this tutorial. But I want to take this ordinary object and make it extraordinary, right? Something that is like incredible, right? Over the top, amazing. It makes you stop and go, whoa. So that's it. I'm a firm believer in finding the magic of the ordinary. I think that's a really fantastic concept. So that's it. That's when I talk about my work and I talk about what I'm doing, is I'm taking these everyday objects and making them extraordinary. So what's up? Say what's up if you can in the chat. Y'all, we're doing a live stream here, unannounced, right? We just got a lot of things going, but I'm Mike Wirth, and we are doing the Gimme a Minute series, where we talk about these crazy things that I'm drawing, right? That have amazing, rich cultural history. and my style, how I'm approaching what I'm doing, thinking about the decisions that I'm making as I'm working. So we're doing this flow field background right now, and that's what these things are called. Is I've created this custom brush inside of ProCreate that lets me draw all these like thousands of dashes and dots, and I do these by hand, and when I don't have to, that's amazing. That is amazing. So I'm grateful for the technology being so cool, and so it boosts my process. Like that's the thing is, you know, when I look at digital technology and I'm thinking, all right, like, yes, it has its own language and it does its own thing, but what is it doing to inform the analog process, right? Like what we do in regular mark making, right? In regular art, not the digital kind. I don't know if I want to even call it regular anymore because it's irregular. You know, a lot of people are going digital. You may have a virtual painting environment soon. You know, I may be doing this as an avatar one of these days, right? In the VR space. Oh man, I would love to like give myself a super Bob Ross perm and just flex and be like, hello friends. Right, so this is a tedious yet super fun part to what we're doing. So y'all, respect to the folks out there who I know fill space and make all of the elements of like what they're doing really filled with richness and detail. You know, it takes a lot of patience to see this stuff to the end, to see it through, because you know, why would I commit to this amount of mark making? It's insane. But once you've really started to put together work that has these patterns in it, all of a sudden now it's like they become really powerful. All right, so I've just now added a brand new eddy on the bottom. It just sort of happened. And like we said, an eddy is one of these spirals that occurs. An eddy is something you'd see in a river, or you would see in the surface of water, right? Eddies are like small whirlpools. If you've ever taken a bath and then you let the water go down, you know that you're going to get that little whirlpool at the drain, and that's an eddy. Right? So what it's revealing to us is that there's something happening below the surface of the water, right? Some sort of power that's either pulling it down or making it rise. Water can rise as well, and have swells. So, but this is any type of material, frankly. Molten rock, right? Anything that's in like a liquid or energy form seems to move like plasma and be marbled, right? I love looking at rocks like igneous intrusions, metamorphic rock that changes under intense heat. That natural marbling that you see is like amazing, and it's something that you want to have be in your art. You know, how can I get that natural pattern to be there like that in what I'm doing? You know, that's something you want to try for. All right, so let's get these flow fields. Oh, I love these things so much. They're great storytellers, and I have been always somebody who has put a lot of marks and lines into my work. It's like the way I shade. You know, when you learn how to do hatching, you start to get different techniques of hatching. Yeah, that's what this is. I've seen the offset printing process before, and just the way that stuff gets handled. And I'm still baffled by the fact that you can, with dots, make a full color photograph, that you can ask people to look at something and then their eyes mix it on the canvas versus the artist mixing the color, you know, for them, making it happen. That's what you're seeing when you look at anything printed, anything with the 4-color process. Now, I'm very inspired by that as a graphic designer. It's something I have to deal with all the time. Is, we're about to output graphics, and it needs to be go into a printer and output, then it needs to be a certain color space, CMYK, right? Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Right now I'm working RGB because I'm on this computer screen. That's the thing, is that computer screens give us RGB, right, as like a primary color palette, even though CMYK is really like red, yellow, blue. So when those dots come together and you form the primaries, then yeah, that allows you to start to see how images can be constructed. So I'm really excited about seeing how certain colors play against each other. And then once that's established, it's like, oh, that looks like that effect. And I start thinking about its application. Like, where would I use that? That could be really cool. And this type of a scenario, this type of a thing in my art. And I start synthesizing it with what it is that I'm working on. All right, so keep it moving here. We're getting close. This is like really satisfying once this part gets done. Zoom in close there. So as I'm picking like where where these things go, I mentioned I have a couple of guidelines I follow, and it's establish the eddies, the swirly whirls, and then make the radial pieces come off. But also think about you can use these lines for directional purposes. So the eddies make us look, but then the line flow makes us go, oh, and we move all over the canvas. So that's also important. Sometimes pointing off of the canvas like that, right? Like resolves the line, meaning that it's like, and it goes somewhere. It has continuation. That's one of the principles of art and design, is that visual elements follow some parameters, some guidelines, rules of thumb for how visuals should be really treated. So as I'm thinking about all these, the rule of continuation, right? That a line, and it doesn't abruptly stop, like it's gonna like crash into a wall. That's not something that you wanna have happen there. Awesome. So capturing more and more eddies now. This one I can kind of almost fill in like I'm painting, because you won't see those things, so it's all right as long as the marks get put down. See, if I take it away, you can see how ugly underneath it gets, but it's all good. Again, it's doubled up there. I don't want too much density. Yeah, I have to be careful to space these because they're full opacity, and if they stack on top of one another, they get really dense, and then it just kind of fills the area blue, and I've lost my texturous feel to what's going on. That's what I want to maintain, is that texturous feel. Okay, here we go. And it's just nice, like I start to see now, all right, well, I've done a lot of long flows, I've done a bunch of eddies in this area. Then I start to think like, all right, well, what of my flow field language here am I not seeing? And yeah, there's all kinds of flow field things. There's convergences, there's branching, fanning, starring, kind of all these directional cues, if you will, like where you can tell a viewer like, hey, look over here, and this is about to do this. It's rad. All right, cool. So I'm just looking for like little empty spots now. Dopeness. So I've got this palm laid out, And I've got my background in the mix, and you can see here, right, that's what we had. Let's get rid of these stars now. Oh. Here. Oh, wait a minute, I hope it didn't delete. Nope, good, okay. Yeah, I'm just getting rid of this stuff now, this drawing stuff. I don't need that pencil sketch anymore. I know if I had it on its own layer, I could just delete the layer. I know. But I don't. I've got it all on one because I am trying to paint with just 2 layers, so I can have high res. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want my everyday round brush. Why are you stuck on that one? Everyday round, there we go. Okay, all right, cut that back in, so that's working much more nicely, and that looks much cleaner. I know the fills look kind of chunky and junky. Just hang with the process. It's gonna do the thing. Okay, and then we'll go now, and we'll start to think about like a couple things, just shading and depth and dimension. So before I proceed, I'm going to. Actually, I'm not. I was going to add a shadow behind the palm itself, but I'm going to hold off on that for just a second. Okay. All right. So automatic. Whoa. Oh, wrong layer. Okay. I'm in the palm layer, and I'm going to go to automatic. Boom. And because all this is red, it keeps it all in there. So I want you guys to see in ProCreate, doing the color flatting is really where it's at. Because if you do the color flats, then you can have, boom, a big area that you can select all the time. You don't have to sit there and do trace selections or anything like that. It's really easy. It's like tap, tap, and you get the selection. Yeah, you know, now we can take this and start to add all of the color effects that we want to do. So I'm going to do a couple of color effects on this right now. I'm going to add some primary shading and some flow fields inside, and I'm going to do what is real simple, the 3-tone method. Someone the other day, a friend of mine, told me it's related to this art movement called divisionism, and that's really exciting. So here we go, let's try it out. So we got that base color, and now I'm going to look for, on the color slider, a darker shadowy hue, and I'm going to go pretty dark, and I'm looking for like an ox blood red, right? Like dark red. And in the brushes, I'm going to look for my favorite texture brush, Melaleuca. I really like that one. It's got a canvas feel to it, so love it. All right, and then I make that real big and real light, and I'm going to use this outer edge here to help form this object. And I just went in and did like a touch, and I'm going to do another touch, and then another touch here, right? And I'm doing layers. It's laying in here, really laying in. Yeah, cool. And then we'll do one kind of deep tone. And I'm not really blending much here. I'm using the semi-transparent paint, and every time it goes down, it lays down, it's like another 20% of dark. So you'll see I'll add here, and it gets somewhat darker, and it's fun. I just want to keep it flowing, keep it consistent, so I spray in a little bit. Right? This feels like spray paint. Let's just, oh, too many jump backs. I had one. All right, happy with that. That one's good. All right, one more touch down here, just to give it that extra dark. Sweet. Okay. Feeling good about this. One little thing is this right here. There we go. These little details in here like will help this start to become something substantial. Really cool. Cool. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We've now darkened this, and I'm going to come back in with more shadow later, but first now I'm going to, after choosing that base, or the base color, sorry, and then going towards dark, we're going to now re-choose the base color and go towards light. So watch, I'm going to jump out of there, choose the color selector, go to my unpainted area of the pomegranate. That's the original red, right? The mid-tone. And then I'm going to go and then scroll this over towards like peachy peach. Okay, sweet, that looks great. Same deal now. And then now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do like some highlight stuff here. Okay. Yeah, this helps us get a sense of light on this now. I can push it again, and you'll see it gives me that. Really nice, but I don't want the light breaking so hard on that side. I want it to maybe be like more over here, right on the object itself. And I'm just going to slowly shrink my brush until it's a little bit smaller. And I'm using like that 50% opacity, and then yeah. Okay, that's a little too intense, but it's in the right place. Hey, there we go. All right, so guys, I just went through a couple of tones from the dark side on the bottom to the light side on the top. You can see now I got like a really nice light pattern on what I'm doing. I've established that there's some light somewhere up in like over here, this vicinity. I can't reach to it on the thing. Let's make sure that the nubby nub also gets some love. Let's lower that, won't increase. Okay, it's just fine here. Okay, just little light touches. You don't need to go crazy on this stuff here. Okay, I'm tempted to work on that edge, but not yet. All right, so this is looking good, and I want to still maintain my selection because I'm going to add some other effects on this. Here you'll see. I like to do this technique where now I'll take like this this third tone right here, right there, and I'm going to choose the flow field shader brush, and I'm going to use the shader brush now, not full opacity but semi-transparent here, and I'm just going to like use this to create some fun flow field patterns in here, and like do what I want. I can lower it even more. There we go. And it's really here for texture purposes. That's the MO on here. And I really love, I don't know if you can, these are real subtle, but that's fine. That's like what I'm gearing towards here. That there's life inside of here. And this is where like I start to become inspired by looking at Jupiter, right? And seeing those crazy storms, or seeing Earth from space, and then being like, damn, what are those storms? So here's the lighter. Make this a little more intense. Okay. Ooh, that's way too intense. Okay. So where the there we go. Nice. It's a little too intense. I'm just gonna bring it down some. Nice. Okay. Now I'm cooking the gas here. So I'm bringing the lighter colors out, and I'm just kind of playing mishmash and smear and pull of all these colors that are coming out. I'm not actually in totally in mode. That's all good. And I'm doing classic cutback method in painting, graffiti, murals, all that stuff. Cool. All right, we're too intense, so slide it down some. And this will let me like get down in here and do a lot more mark making, but it's not like overwhelming, because we're going to put stuff on top of this. This isn't going to be 100% how it's going to be. Right? I'm just I'm glazing. I'm building like skins of things, and this is the flow field portion of what that is. This is nice. Yeah, it's like when they show aliens playing marbles, and then one of the marbles is our world. That's a metaphor right there. Surrealist metaphor. Cool. All right, so we're starting to get in all these layers. You can see it's really starting to match the background, and we then have like also a general kind of form around the top. So like that's doing well. And let's see. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna try this this glory effect. Okay, so what a glory is like in really cold skies or like rainy rainforests and stuff, you see like a rainbow in things, but anytime light cuts through that, it creates this rainbow around the light source. So sometimes it looks like a cloud is shimmering with this glory halo, and yeah, when somebody's in a light and they get that halo effect on them, the glory is the thing, and it's a rainbow, right? It's just like a prismatic effect that occurs in light and water, giving us a rainbow. All right, so here's how we're gonna rock it. I like to start with yellow, and well, actually, here, first and foremost, what helps with the glory is we do a little more shading on the overall thing. So here, I'll go back to my oxblood red. Okay, and we're gonna just I'm coming in, I'm extra toning it down just to make it a little more dramatic, all right, with the shadow. That's the goal here. Okay, and then now we'll go and we're going to use the soft brush. We're not going to use the texture brush for this because we like the texture to be the texture, but this is going to be about light, so it should be soft. And we'll go to yellow, like a El Dorado yellow. And then we'll start to now, let's see the size of this thing. Okay. We'll start to now bring in this yellow light. Okay. That is what's going on. So now we'll then go to kind of reddish orange, because it's like already that. So do the yellow orangish type of thing, just so it shows up on the against the other color. And we'll scroll down to pinkish. Yeah. Okay. So you see how we're starting to do the like fade around the edge type thing. Pink, like a purplish pink. Okay, to purple, and we want purple to be like on this side of the fruit, and then we'll round to blue. Okay, because the background's already like a blue, probably better to use like a lightish blue. Yeah, it just helps like kind of differentiate. Oh, too much. All right, and then green. Okay, just to kind of connect the last few elements here. So, okay, so you see we've got now this like overall glowy, shady aspect to it. It's kind of funky. Just make sure that part. Okay, cool. Make sure a little more blue gets into this part here. I just am ensuring that like it's the consistent glow around the edge. You want that to be the case. Okay, and now even still, right, with what's going on, we can bring that Melaleuca brush back in and oxblood red, real dark now, and it maintains somewhat of the color, but then also has that shadow still built in. I don't know if y'all seeing this here. And I'm actually cutting my shadow, not at the edge, but close to the edge. I'm really trying to like make this area right here, I'll shrink this down some. Make this area right here really something profound. You dig? Cool. Now, last piece here. Okay, so we've actually done great on the pomegranate. Like it's in excellent shape. We could do more on top, so I'm gonna turn off that selection. And then the last part here, what I would do is I'm gonna turn on the flow field outliner. And now I'm gonna start to get those colors again, Eldorado yellow. And this is where I gotta be real precise. Okay. All right. Oop, nope. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go a little lighter. Keep it in that. So this is a single liner flow field brush that I like to use for what I'm doing now. And I get that little twisty one always at the beginning. So what I'm doing here is I'm using this to now outline the edge. I'm like doubling down on this glory as a thing. It's like very much a thing. Not only do I have it in soft layout, but now I have it in a firm layout here, right? With a firm line. It's very deliberate. Okay. And we'll end with like a real green. This, I would have liked this to be a little smaller. Yeah, it's a little chunky around that edge. I'm not stoked on that. Okay, but for the demonstration purposes here, you can see now that that glory is like clearly there in both soft brush and in the outline, right, with like what's going on. Sweet. Okay, so I could continue this now and start to play with these leaves, and here we'll do an automatic selection. You can see it's ready to go, and I'll take dark green, Melaleuca, strengthen that, okay, and I'm starting to look for these underparts here. Okay. I'm just trying to get these shadows, like 2 or 3 layers of that is really good. It helps you kind of just define the depth and dimension there. And you know, I'm imagining the light pattern. I'm not using like a reference for it. So probably have it mixed up in some ways. Yeah, I do for sure. Small. Wait. Okay. All right, cool. So now I would use the glory effect on this as well, and get this to a really good point. Yeah. All right, so we'll use the liner brush. I would add some more flow fields and things like that to it, but it's okay. We're not gonna go crazy right now. All right, so we're gonna do, not that. We're gonna go a little thinner on this guy, not too thin. Get a little dash down the center there. That's so it helps make this really exciting. Okay, and then I'm going to use my, I'm going to use this one, the Victor brush, which is like the, and then I'm going to make it, well, let's see how it looks. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. All right, so wherever there's light now, I'm going to cut in these cool. Cutting in these little hash marks here. And this is going to help us, like, you know, from a contour line perspective and a shading perspective, you know, help us now further establish the light pattern. Sweet. Okay. All right, so we're good on that stuff. I'm gonna use my Mela Luca brush, and I'm gonna get a blue, like a dark blue. I'm gonna just paint in some shadows around the edges here, just to kind of help with the background some. Just to kind of maybe suggest that there's some space here or something. Just gonna push in some of these little areas here, just so it kind of helps establish a little bit of a shadow here, a little bit. Okay, and then thinking about like moons and stuff, right? I mentioned before I'm gonna do that. So I'm heading over to this shader here, and it's too light, but I am big. I'm using this like mixture of kind of terracotta, brown, neutral. Yep, good. Okay, back on there. As a way to set it up, so that way I could put my stars in here now. Yeah, and I'm going to put a star there even on the ground. I know it's weird. It's all good. It's my painting. Cool. So I'm using this brown because what it does is it lets me kind of neutralize in between colors somewhat. Okay, and now I'm looking at this here. We're gonna, the beauty of it, I can shrink that somewhat. It's just like, it keeps my composition fresh. Okay, but I do have to fix some of these meandering areas here. Okay. These are not 100%. I think I'm okay. All right. I don't want to go too much there because I've painted some of that down some already. I don't want to push on it. Okay. Here's what we need to do next. We got to stay in this background layer. Go to the flow field brush and now get a yellow brush. That's actually going to be yellow. You don't need full opacity, so it's a light object. complete. Okay. A little touch of stars in here. I'm gonna build these. That's why I'm doing like a little bit at a time. Just so that they now, like that yellow interacts with that brown. Cool. All right. So we got all those stars now in the mix, and I really like where this is going. So guys, we're heading to a great place. I feel like we could call this a wrap shortly here. So I've got a little white, and I'll come in now and just add just some little bit of illumination in here. Do the same thing on these guys. Just tapping to build. It's always good to go like 40% on brushes opacity, because then you could always add to it and push it so that it becomes something stronger. Okay, so we got this palm. It is rocking. Okay, let's see. One last thing is oh, I have let's see where the luminance is. Mics, okay. Here we go. All right, the shines right here. These are the fun things that we can do. So here now, I'm gonna go. Oh, bummer. I'm on the background layer. Yes, that is so nice. I love these things like so much. Give me a weird one. Okay, cool. That one's like super dynamite disco. Okay, good deal. All right, we're gonna sign this one up, and we're gonna call this one done, my friends. Get a little paint there. So, y'all, this has been wonderful. Thank you guys for joining me on this stream event. Right, give me a minute. So, I will make this artwork available up on my store. So if you head to mikewirthart.com/shop, you can get this and a bunch of other art on canvas. So, my friends, thank you so very much. We'll do the quick replay here. You can see today we did a pomegranate, and we talked about composition. We talked about color flats. I explained my flow field background and how it makes ordinary objects extraordinary. And then we played with stars and intensities, ways to blend different colors together. We brought this pomegranate to life with some shading and dimension. We talked about that fun rainbow effect that's called a glory. And then how I make my special flow field brushes, right, in order to make this kind of work happen. So, friends, thank you so much. I hope you're out there making great work, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. And we're gonna draw more fun stuff. All right, all right, all right. So y'all, thank you so much. Have a great one.